All right, so why don't I use a planner? Can you even stay organized without a planner? Well, I'm here to tell you yes, you can. And I am going to show you how I do it and also let you know that there are a lot of different ways to stay organized without using an actual planner. So let's get into it. Hey everybody, it's Ed. Welcome back to the channel. It's great to see all of you. I hope you've had a great week. Hope you had a happy Halloween. And just want to touch base. I wrote a recent blog article on why I don't personally use a planner and wanted to talk through what I meant by that. A lot of people think that may mean I'm against organizing that way or that planners are outdated or a thing of the past. And I don't agree with any of that. I actually believe that if you are very productive in a planner, and I'm talking everything from the Stephen Covey planners all the way to just pen and paper planners, calendaring, a lot of different ways that you can plan and incorporate new systems into your workflow. But for me, those just aren't as effective as the tools that I choose to use to make my workflow better. And so I want to talk about that a little bit. And we'll kind of start, we'll go through the blog article, the three items I list, and then we'll move on and we'll talk about kind of how I organize my day and how those things interact. And I use a combination of different things, and I'll kind of go through each of those as we progress. Anyway, I will see you just here in a minute. All right, so I want to take just a minute and I'm going to zoom out and then we'll zoom back in. There's kind of a few things at play here. One, we have my Supernote, which all of you know, big fan of the Supernote. The A5X is my go-to. I've even recently given the A6X2 over to Trey, so my Nomad is truly nomadic now. Trey's using it for his engineering work. I really just wasn't utilizing the device to its full potential, and I'd rather have someone get use out of that device than have it just go with me to and from work and not get utilized. So what I've done is I've gone back to my A5X, and this is what I've used for over 3.5 years. I'm extremely excited for the A5X2 when that comes out. I'm hoping to get a device from Rada whenever they start sending out review units, and that way I can share that information with you, all the different enhancements and different things going on. The other thing that I want to talk about is the blog. And you can see over here, I came up with three major takeaways in this blog, and we'll go through that in detail as well. But I did want to zoom out for a minute, show you kind of the whole picture and what we're going to be talking about. We'll go ahead and we'll start with the blog and kind of talk about my philosophy behind why I don't use a planner. And then we'll pop over to the Supernote and I'll show you what those challenges actually mean to me and also what my potential solutions are to make that work and why it's important to me. And I'm not going to go into Obsidian in this particular video. Obsidian is kind of the third leg of the stool here. So I use the Supernote, which includes the calendar and everything. I use um, Google Tasks, and we will look at that a little bit. And then I use Obsidian to kind of tie everything together and make it all work the way that I want it to. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive in really quickly to the blog. So here we are on the blog, and I do want to highlight some things that I think are really important here. This is very condensed. I encourage you to go read the blog. I'll link it below. It gives you a little bit more information and insight. And if you want to go even deeper into my thought process, you can head on over to Patreon, and my supporters get to see the entire brainstorming process, how I wrote this out in the Supernote, and how it went, and eventually became what you see here on the screen. But again, that's all extra things that you can do to really get in touch with this. Let's talk about the first part. So I put too much at once. And I think the biggest thing, and maybe I'm alone in this struggle. I don't think I am, but I feel that sometimes we want to plan out our entire day or our entire week or our entire month. And if you can do that, more power to you. And I think it's really important to understand where you are with that. I can do high level things in the morning. I can put main level tasks, big ticket items. I can get all of that down in the morning. What I have trouble with is sitting down and getting into the minutia, because once I hit a certain amount of time, it becomes a poor return on investment for me. How much time am I making the list? How much time am I allocating the time? And that then reduces the amount of time I have to actually get things done. Now, again, this isn't everybody. I want to be really clear about that. But for me, that causes me some serious problems to be able to, really, I get caught up in that minutia. I get caught up in the small things. So that's one piece of it. The other is kind of a digital connection. And this has to do with more of the physical planners. And there are a lot of people out there that love to use the physical planner pieces. And there's nothing wrong with that. The Stephen Covey planner's been around for a long time. It keeps people organized. You can go to any office supply store and you'll find all kinds of tools that can help keep you organized. Those don't translate directly into the digital space. So you have to go to that paper product to be able to engage with them. And that can be a real problem. The Rocketbook is a very good middle ground where you can write things out by hand, you can put them into a planner, and then you go ahead and you upload that planner to a digital space, and then you are able to interact and engage with those written notes. Not quite to the level of what I need, but it's a good middle ground to get you there. And then you have the PDF planners. And the PDF planners, which are very good, My Daily Organizer by Voya and My Deep Guide, you've heard me talk about it a lot. If I was going to use a planner, it would be probably his or the one that Morning Coach JB Glossinger gives out on his website for free. They're both very good. Voya does charge for his, and I've actually paid for the version that I have for this year to test it out, try it out. Those come with a little bit of a kind of all or nothing approach to me. Everything's contained in one document. And if you've downloaded either of these, they're extremely large documents, very good hyperlinks. You can jump around to different dates. You can do all these different things, but all of your notes, all of your things are in those planners. So there's no dispersion. There's no creating a note on the fly and then being able to search for just that note. You have to go through the planner and kind of remember the day. Now, the Supernote does allow for some workarounds to where you can turn these into a template. Again, they're still contained in one huge note file, but it becomes searchable. It becomes much more uh, accessible in a lot of ways and flexible. Again, there are some trade-offs, and I have a whole video on the trade-offs between using them, several videos actually, and I'll link them in the description, between using them as a PDF versus using them as a template. And you just there are differences, and it's important to be aware of those differences and how that will impact your workflow. So that's the second one. That leads to what I think of as this third term you see here, which is what I call the lack of flexibility. What I mean by flexible doesn't mean that you can't be creative and you can't do different things in a visual planner or a traditional planning approach. But what it doesn't do for me is allow me to be able to create something on the fly and then immediately link it or move a digital item directly into it. And it creates obstacles and challenges for me from a workflow perspective. It's not that these aren't flexible to have you collect your thoughts and do different things. It's just from the way that I organize my day and move my things around. It's not the most effective way for me to do that. I do that with the Supernote and the to do functionality in that, which is something I thought I'd never use. and also with Google Tasks. When I was in the Microsoft ecosystem, it would have been Outlook and To Dos over there. And so I use all of these different things. And then in another video, like I said, and maybe in the live stream coming up with Roderick from Rants About Tech, we'll look at this idea of, how Obsidian fits into all of this, because that adds yet another layer of connectivity around why I do and how I do what I do. So I just wanted to set the stage. So here's the blog post. Those are kind of the three top items. Again, feel free, please read it. I did a very high level summary there. So now we can pop on over really quick to my Supernote. And the reason the Supernote works really well for me, and I'm going to show a couple of quick things, and you all may have seen these if you followed me before on the channel quite a while. You'll have seen some of this. You'll have seen the Get It Done Now planner. You'll have seen Voya's, My Daily Organizer. I tried this again for about 2 weeks to see if I could fit my workflow into one of these planners and basically do it better and make it more seamless in some ways. And I did that through the note system because, again, I wanted to be able to have handwritten recognition. I wanted to be able to do linking. Keywords work in the PDF, and the star marking system works in the PDF, but you don't get the text recognition and you don't get the other components, the linking components that I really enjoy. Now, if Rada ever does get that incorporated, I think you'll see a sea change in what's possible. You still have the redundancy issue of having all of your notes in one file, but those can be mitigated by having that file backed up somewhere else or doing it in a different way. But so you'll see here right at the top, I have a Get It Done Now planner test, and I tried to put things in here. But you'll see they're very small. Now, if this was the PDF version, I could pinch to zoom and make that much bigger and be able to work with it very well. Both Voya and JB have done a great job of making it so that you can enlarge these and really have some good real estate. Unfortunately, once you turn it into a note, you lose that ability to zoom, to pinch to zoom. Now, what I could do is I can rotate it. And if I rotate it, you'll see that I get a bigger canvas to be able to write on. And that does give you some flexibility. But at the same time, now there's a lot I can do with this. I could turn each one of these into individual tasks and add them to the to-do list, which I did do to try and use this system. I did the same thing on MDO, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. But the nice thing about these is all of those hyperlinks stay in. But you only have so much real estate here. You only have so many things you can add. And for me, that's just not as flexible as something that I would want to have. I also did the test document with MDO. And MDO, again, a very good planner. All of these are hyperlinks. So I can go to my next day and see, of course, nothing there because this is particularly a test file. But you'll see I had a bunch of different things written in here. Now, one thing that Voya does do, and again, no pinch to zoom because it's a note template. So let's make this a little bit bigger. And you'll see you get a little bit more spacing between the lines. You get a little bit more real estate to be able to write on. It's just a difference in design language. It's not anything as far as being, bad on either planner or better on either planner. It's just a different approach. But again, you get daily notes that you can go to and pop into, you get daily diary, you get a lot of different things to be able to do this. So Supernote gives you a lot of ways to be able to engage. Let's go ahead and get out of here. So one thing that I started doing, and I did a video on this as well, which I'll put in the description, is I started playing around to see just how many things you can do with one particular piece of text. And this is why it's important to me. So let's say that this is a test meeting note, and then I have action item 1 and action item 2. We'll only do 2 for now. So I have these 2 action items. I've taken this note, I've taken this meeting. Not only if I created this note today would it show up in my calendar and would be there on the date it was created, but now if I want to take it a step further, I can lasso action item 1, go to the calendar icon, go to a to-do. Action item 1 came right in, and I can go ahead and select my date and say I want to have this one due today. And then I hit add. Now what it's going to do is it's going to jump me back to that same note. Now I'm back in that same note. I can go ahead and do action item 2. Again, to do. Action item 2. Say we'll have this one due tomorrow. So we're going to do that on the 3rd. Hit confirm. And now we've added that to do. So what I've done there and what I think is important is, I can do that in the moment. So if there's a lull, it's in a meeting and I'm taking all of these notes and I'm doing all of these things, I can go ahead and go right back really quickly, circle those 2 things, add them to do, and now they are shoved into my to-do list. Or after the meeting is completely done and I go back to my office and I have a little bit of free time, I can go through the meeting that I left, circle to-do items that need to be done over the next few days, and seamlessly add them over to the to-do list. And accessing it becomes very, very easy. You just go straight into that to-do list, and you'll notice that I have an inbox now because they're not automatically sorted unless you create them in a folder. And you can create them in a folder. I tend not to do that as much because I like having this little reference piece over here to the notebook that they're in. So for me, now I can go straight back to that note that was in. And the cool part is if I go now back here, instead of going back to the folder that the note is in, it takes me directly back to the to-do list. So if these to-dos are all in multiple different notes, I can go ahead and tick one of them off at a time. And each time that I tick that off, it's going to pop me back to the to-do list. And then I can go directly to that next notebook without having to find it again, without having to run a search, without having to do anything. I just go directly from this link. And it remembers not only the note, but the page. And even let's say I did both of these tasks, you'll see they moved to completed. And let's say I also do a hold down here. I want to move these to social. So now when I go to social, you'll see all of these different to-dos. The nice part about it is all of these links are still active. Pretty amazing, really, when you think about it. Even though the to-do is completed, and now I'll go back, takes me back to my completed to-dos. That's a huge functionality shift. It allows me to focus on what I need to focus on in the moment, create and capture that information and send it back, and then also be able to revisit tasks or items or notes that pertain to a specific topic straight from the to-do list, almost like a semi-home screen. And I've done videos on using this or the calendar for that purpose. Let's say that I'm going to create a new note because right now it says I have no notes. Anything I create today will show up in this block here. We can also create. So let's go ahead and, for now, just create a new random note. But right now, so we've gone ahead and we've created this note. And when we go back, you'll see now there's one new note here. And what's cool about this is I tend to, and I've mentioned this in another video, create my meetings in here because this does sync with Google Calendar. So I'll have my meetings populated over here on this right-hand side, and then I'll have a new note that I create that morning before my day starts for each meeting. So they're dispersed. They're not in one file. They're in multiple files, but they exist in one place. And that's very important to me. But the flexibility of this note, so you pop up, it tells you you've got your note, you go to it. So now I've created three things and I didn't put my header. I always do headers as well so that when I combine things later, they're very easy to see in one big large notebook in a table of contents. But for now, I'm just showing these specific things. And what's really neat about this, and I've shown this once before too, is as I select this task, I can do a meeting or a to-do. I can also do both of those things. I can also do this as a keyword and as a headline or as a header. I can do all of those functions. The only thing you can't do right now with selecting the same piece of text multiple times is a link. And I really hope they get that functionality soon. I think that would be a game changer in the industry. Nobody else does it that way. I think you combine all of those things and you'll have something truly amazing. So anyway, so this is our task. So we will say, new task. We'll have it due today. And then I will hit add. Now again, it's going to take me directly back to where I was. So now we're going to make this one a new event. And we'll go ahead and we'll make a new event. Go to the calendar. Go to this calendar. It's going to recognize that text. There's your new event. I can say this is going to be an all day event. And let's go ahead and do it for Monday. So I'll put it on Monday and we'll hit confirm. You do have to do it in both places. So just be aware of that. And then we will go to a new note. Now this one's kind of cool. So let's say we want to create a new note. How do we do that from here without going to the note first and doing all this other stuff? Well, what you can do is you can hit link and then you can say other files. So you have all of these different things. You can do another page in this file. You can do recent files. You can do other files, or you can do web pages. So let's say we want to change the style here. We want to do other files. And then up here, you can create a new, Up here, you can create a new folder, or you can go ahead and create a new note. Now, if I go to that note, you'll see I have a potential task list, which I could customize however I want. And then if I hit this back arrow, it's going to take me back to the note. But now what you'll notice if you look here is there are now two notes. So if I pull this up again, you'll see there is my new test note and there is my example task list. All of those things are right there. Now, one thing they don't have is the integration with the to-do. I wish and I hope that that's coming soon. But again, it's a simple pull down swipe and then you go to do. And you'll see now that again, I have something in my inbox and there's my test task one. There's my notebook and now I'm back and we are full circle. And what you could do, and again, this is why this is so flexible, is within the same notebook, you could have your tasks here. You could have a front page. You could have a couple of different pieces of notes. You can basically self create your own planner, and it's a little bit more flexible in some ways, at least to me, than what you're getting in the pre created planners. Again, not for everybody, but do want to tell you that for me, this is an optimal workflow. So now let's see how we interact with that with Google. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you that here. I've shown it before, but what I don't want to do is end up using my work account and having something show. Instead, what I'm going to do is we're going to flip over to the Google Calendar, and I'm going to show you on my Organizing for Change account what how I would think about tasks a little bit differently there and then bring them into this workflow. All right, so here we are in my Google Calendar, and I do want to take just a few minutes to talk through why this is important. Okay, so here we are in my Google Calendar, and I do want to take just a few minutes here to talk about why this is important. This does sync directly with the Supernote. Once you load your calendar, all of your events will come in. Now, one thing Google does have that I wish the Supernote also pulled in is the ability to add tasks to calendar. So, for example, if I hit test task here and I say that this is due today at 6 a.m., doesn't repeat, and I want it in my tasks, and I hit save. So what it does here is it automatically adds it to the calendar view as well in your calendar. So you can have events which auto-populate and go to your Supernote. You can have the tasks which also go directly into your Google Calendar. And so I'll use a combination. I won't just use one or the other. The Supernote for me is primarily for tasks that uh, I'm pre-planning early in the morning. So the new notes for the events, things that happen in the moment. So as I'm taking notes in those meetings, instead of coming back, typing those into Google Tasks, and then going back and looking them up into the Supernote, that just seems like a lot of extra steps for me. And I don't really want to do that. So what I would do instead is those go directly in the Supernote to do. Whereas things that are pre-planned, things that I know are going to happen task-wise, I'll put in Google Calendar. And that way it's on my phone still. And both it and the Supernote app I can use to be able to complete tasks as I need to do them. And there may be digital resources that are tied to the Google tasks. Maybe it's a Google Doc, maybe it's a specific email, maybe it's a specific Zoom meeting, things that aren't living in the Supernote ecosystem. And so for me, that's really important to have that flexibility to have the information where I need it to be and when I need it to be there. The events are seamless. They go between both devices. I think eventually Rada may be looking at integrating Google Tasks or Outlook Tasks also into the Supernote. And if they combine that with the ability to create tasks from the device, I think it's going to be a productivity powerhouse. You don't then have to use the Outlook app or the To Do app in Office or Google Tasks or Google Calendar to manage all of your things. You can, and it might be faster to type something if you have that in front of you. But if you just have your notebook and you're jotting down notes and you want to add a few things on the fly and then have that automatically sync and go back and edit it later, it's a win-win all the way around. It really is a great tool. So that's kind of why I don't use a traditional planner. Let's go ahead and hop back over. And hey, everybody, welcome back. Thank you so much for hanging in there. I know this was a little bit longer video, but it was requested and it was something that I've been wanting to get done for a while. It also, I think, is really important for Those of you who may not be linear thinkers, may not be very focused in being able to map out or plan out your entire day or your entire week or month or quarter all at one time. Again, those of you who are, kudos to you. I really wish I had that ability to be able to jump in and plan at that level. And don't get me wrong, at the strategic level, I can definitely do that. I mean, having worked with and led multiple technology integrations and strategic initiatives over the years, I get big projects done, but I get them done probably in a way that may seem counterintuitive to some, which again, I use everything from Basecamp, which we did not cover here, which is a large scale project management tool, to Google Tasks and how that works, to the Supernote and how that keeps me organized. I use all of the tools in the toolkit that I have, and they all have different purposes. Some are for overarching goals and overarching themes. Some are for granular tasks. But again, the more flexibility I can build into that workflow, the more important the tool becomes to me. It's why the Supernote is a driver for me. It's why Google, now that I'm using the Google ecosystem at Valpo, is so important to the work that I do because I need those tools to be as flexible as possible and give me space to make my work happen the way it needs to happen. And so that's why I thought this video was important. I thought the blog was important. And again, if you're interested, reach out over on Patreon. You can see kind of the behind the scenes. How did I, even think about writing all of this and putting it out there? If you are someone who is highly structured in their organization, check out My Daily Organizer and the Get It Done Planner. Those links will be down in the description below. If you're interested in supporting me on Patreon, you can join for 7 days for free. I also have a free tier, but you can join as a supporter for 7 days to try things out. Sometimes you get early access to content. You get behind the scenes writings and early drafts of things. I even have something over there right now where I'm doing a series on AI, and Notebook LM is something that I've been working with a little bit. So again, stop by over there. You will see at the end of this video some of my supporters and also everyone in the free tier. Until next time, though, uh, be safe, be healthy, and I will see you soon.